third song on my new album, Start to End, is called Our Tempos Turn. That's the short version of the name. This song begins with an intro featuring a bunch of sounds of objects being shaken. Cups, plates, silverware. It's kind of a take on the beginning of some orchestra pieces where all the instruments are kind of simmering over one note. And it's kind of just building up excitement. Lyrically, this song is about an extremely cliche idea of the moment of connecting with another person, and it's sort of being like this collision between two different people, two different worlds. And so the song is divided into two distinct halves with this extremely abrupt, jarring, loud middle section, which symbolizes that sort of moment of impact. The first half of the song is built around a polyrhythm, a very simple 3/2 polyrhythm, which even if you don't know what that means, you've probably heard before. A lot of people know it as the sort of Carol of the Bells kind of feel. So there's two separate rhythms going on at the same time, and I kind of wanted to do that to represent two separate pulses or heartbeats kind of beating over each other. I have no idea how to play the harmonica at all, but I had a cheap one lying around that happened to be in the same key as this song, and I started messing with it, and I really like the way that the breathing affects the instrument. You can create these swells. Just lean against the window frame. The sound you hear in this distorted bit here is from a circuit bent tape recorder. Taking a tape recorder and fucking it up a little bit to the point where you can manipulate the sound while you're playing back a tape and just kind of create these weird distortions and pitch effects. The second half of the song is sort of just this chorus that repeats and just kind of builds. And I wanted it to kind of just become a sort of like prayer where the words sort of just repeat themselves and become background, and the music is what sort of rises. But in order to do that, it needed to find ways to keep adding more layers to make it interesting. And so there's quite a few random instruments in here that come in. There's some flute. There's also some flute beatboxing that comes in halfway through. This low organ. At the climax of the song, I even stuck in a couple of telephone ringing sounds in the background, which is something I've used before, and I don't know, I really like the sound. I think it reminds me of like a tremolo or a trill on a guitar, violin, or piccolo, or high-pitched instrument. which in maybe a symphonic kind of music sort of signals excitement. There's a few layers of cello throughout this song as well, which were performed by Drew Walker. The first part being in this intro section, where we basically recorded him stretching his fingers across the strings, drumming on the wooden body of the cello, and basically making every noise possible except for actually playing the cello. In the second half of the song, there's this kind of cello pulse, which starts with just a single note, and then there are more and more layers added onto it, and it kind of helps build this section.